Hello friends, welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. And in this video about comparing Dialogflow Essential and CX version, we will deep dive into the core differences between both the platform. And this video will provide kind of a comprehensive guide for developers to understand the strength and weaknesses of each platform, and ultimately enabling the developers to choose the best solution for their use case. So let's move to the platforms itself. You can see here on one side we have Dialogflow ES, and on this side Dialogflow CX. So this Dialogflow Essential version has these kinds of agent laid out, while on the CX you first need to choose the project on which you want to work, and then you can select the agent that is on the project. Here I guess each project can be associated with each agent. Then if you go to the agent, I'll go to the agent on the CX as well. You will see that it has very limited functionalities. We have intent, entity, knowledge, which is still in beta, then fulfillment and integration. You have validation, history of the conversation, analytics, basic analytics, and there is training as well. So on this side we have intent, entity, webhook, which is fulfillment, route group, data store, generator, test cases, validation, and bunch of more information. There is CI/CD pipeline as well, integrations. But moreover, we have a kind of visual flow builder which is not here, and the reason behind this basic difference of working is that Dialogflow CX is a finite state machine. So the conversation moves from one state to another state, while Essential version is purely context based conversation. So you move from one conversation step to another conversation step, which is bound by context. So if you look here in the intents, you need to create intents. Here also you can create intents, but I want to make out a difference here, which is very fundamental. That let's say if this is about continue no and continue yes. So in the conversation somewhere user says no or yes, so I need to create two intents for that scenario, and that's totally fine. But let's say in another scenario which is tightly bound by context, if I have to create route whether user is going to say yes or no, and then drive the conversation based on the answer, then I need to create two more intents of the same yes and no. While here what happens is that I have two intents, user denies or user agrees, and I can use this multiple times into the conversation. So this is kind of a basic difference. Then there is entities. Most of the system entities are same on both the platform. Okay, there are a bunch of system entities supported on CX and Essential version as well. Then there is knowledge, which is a kind of retrieval augmented generation, but a basic fundamental retrieval augmented generation. While on CX we have top notch data store, which is retrieval augmented generation, and LLM based generators as well. Then there is a fulfillment section, which is a kind of a webhook, which is very limited in terms of functionality. But if you look here, First, you can create multiple webhooks. So let's say you have Firebase functions or GCP cloud function for each scenario, and you can have multiple webhooks. Then each webhook can have too many different things. For example, if you want to pass some request headers, if you have different kinds of authentication, and the most important thing here is that you can change the webhook timeout. Here on essential version, there is a strict 5-second timeout. Here you can modify the timeout. On the other hand, we have integrations, some basic integrations, text-based, voice-based, and some open source are there as well. So if I come here, we have again a similar kinds of one-click telephony, then text-based. So we have text-based as well, almost similar text-based, and then there are open source. There are some open source integrations. Now there is a training. You can, based on the conversation, you can train the intent, then validation, then history of the conversation, and then analytics. So if you see here, there is some basic analytics, nothing more than sessions and interaction for all the requests. But if you go here, you'll see that you have much more information than just basic. And then I guess there are other things as well that you can set in the analytics part, but I'm not sure if it is doable. Yeah, page with no match, and then page with no response, page with loop, by tag. So these are the things that you get in CX. Also in CX we have test cases. So what happens is that when you run some conversation in the simulator, you can save that conversation as a test case, and then you can always come here and run all the test cases after you do some modification to the Dialogflow agent. So these are the few things that I think differentiates two platforms, and I hope you kind of understand both the platforms. And I know I haven't kind of created something to explain these things better, but when I compare these two in this video, I assume that you have kind of some basic knowledge about Dialogflow platform itself. So finally, in terms of which platform to use. So for example, for some simpler conversations, like in this example, user wants to schedule an appointment. For those kind of very small scenarios, very small numbers of conversations, I suggest essential version is a very good solution because it's easy to build. Second, it's very cheap compared to CX. But let's say if you want to build a complex flow, very complex flow, where user moves from one state to another state, for example, restaurant booking. So there is a booking flow, there is a modification flow, there is a cancellation flow, there is a FAQ flow where user only wants to get information. So for these kind of scenario, I guess CX is more suitable. So I guess this is it from my side of the video, and I hope you have now gained knowledge about both the platforms, and now you know the strength and weaknesses of each platform. And I hope this video will help you decide which platform to use for your particular use case. In case you have any question regarding this video and the comparison, Feel free to comment in the video. I'll get back to you. And in case you like the work I'm putting on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. That helps. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the life. Feel the music. Peace.